Welcome to Dragon's Tome. This is issue 109 for May 1986. My name's Rob.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Trevor.
And we're discussing Dragon Magazine as we do every time. Every issue, one at a time. We're up to 109 issues. I had this cover. I had this issue because I bought it after. It was after I went back and bought back issues. But I do remember this cover because it's hilarious. It's Attack of the Terror by Daniel Horn. This is Daniel Horn's first cover. He does quite a few. He's a really good artist, and I love the character of the paladin. Maybe, and
I called him in my notes the dandy.
Yes, he's got like the classic British explorer look to him.
And he's got tight armor. Like he's going on a night in town.
And he's drawing his magic sword. He's got some runes on it, and he's going to fight a terror, which is a crazy gorilla-looking thing.
Looks like a Wendigo.
An abominable snowman.
But it's I love this cover. It is awesome. And I believe it was also in one of the monster manuals, maybe in the compendium when they had the inserts. I'm pretty sure it was one of the inserts in one of those.
I don't think so because
a divider. I think it was one of the dividers.
I have them, and I know the ones and twos very well because I spent maybe about a week and a half trying to figure out which insert came in Compendium 1 and Compendium 2. And I don't remember this picture.
Maybe it wasn't in 1 or 2. Maybe it was in 3.
I'll have to find mine and see.
There's no 3.
There's 17 of them, aren't there?
No, yeah, but they're not numbered at that point. They become like Fiend Folio or Ravenloft or Spelljammer.
Greyhawk.
Let's start with Patrick. What's your first article?
Oh no. We're gonna go to page 16.
A barbarian clerics.
Why
are you obsessed with clerics?
Ooh. I'm not obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with the fact that this is a character class for a barbarian genre. Ever since the Unearthed Arcana Barbarian is out now.
Uber.
I've never played it, as I read it, it seemed to be as OP as the barbarian himself. This version of the cleric allows you to choose from both druid and clerical spells.
Yeah, that's not right.
The only thing I didn't see is if they had the same magical resistance as the fighter barbarian does.
They should just be druids. I think that's what a barbarian cleric is a druid.
Yeah, or some kind of shaman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that they can pick from both classes of holy person seems a little too much for me, and it just carries on with the barbarian OP-ness with it. So, yeah, I mean the titles would call them shamans, even that, but then there's even a witch doctor. Goes all over the place with this thing.
Voodoo, that's racist.
Yeah. There are some new spells in here, death curse, resistance injury, and everything, but
as voodoo and fakir.
Yeah, it's out of control.
Let's mix every race together.
This barbarian cleric is just out of control, just as the barbarian class itself from Arthur and Acana. That's all I wanted to point out. That's why as I was reading, I'm like, oh my god, this thing is out of... I mean, is there no one reeling these people in when they're making these characters anymore?
No. They had a lily, they gilded it, then they vajazzled it, and then they put it... Then they put some stickers on it. It was.
I mean, someone had to say, like, you can't pick from both spell lists.
You can't make everything.
Can't you?
I mean,
we'll get to that. We'll
Don't
get to
even
that.
admit-
Wink.
I mean, not even the ranger gets to pick from a clerical list.
Can't you? Wink. Anyways, is there anything else to say about the barbarian cleric?
No, it's out of... This is just one OP character. I mean, if you like to play the OP barbarian class, this is a nice variation of the barbarian for you.
Well, Thomas M. Kane, you failed us again.
I don't know if you failed us again because I don't remember an article from Tom, but that's not to say he hasn't written one before.
And since he has sadly passed, he can't fail us
Oh yeah, I forgot about
from
that
now
bit.
on. So
We need to start bringing that. But that
Uh,
bit came and bit us in the butt last time.
well, it's about to bite us in the butt again because wink. That's not my first article. But Jack, what's your first article?
my first article. Could we go to page 30, please?
Oh, that's my 5th article.
Well, I do know that you're a fan of the dwarfs, but this is talking about dwarf beards, and it is very interesting talking about the social
You-
aspects.
Yeah, you use weird. Or you use interesting. I wrote weird.
Little from column A, little from column B.
It talks about the importance of beards permeating the social lives of dwarves and their city lives. That certain things, like if you saw a dwarf with his beard tucked into his belt, it was because he did something like a blacksmith that had to be out of the way. If a woman got married, she would take all the doodads and trinkets out of her beard because she wasn't looking to. That's how they told people you were available. If you're single, you did that, and then if you were married, you didn't.
So you take out your vajazzled beard as to bring back
Yes.
vajazzling.
The with the women beard thing, I put in my notes. He goes, it even says dwarf females are bearded, continuing the age-long argument about that topic.
Yeah, yeah. And it talks about how if you showed up even from another race without a beard, people would be like, "What? What's that guy's problem?" So yeah, it was interesting. Not a horrendously long article, but long enough, and yet
A lot of pictures, a lot of beautiful
I
pictures.
still was able to go through, and it didn't lose me.
Yeah, not a horrible article. It was just weird to focus on a beard.
Thank you, John Olson. We'll give credit where credit's due.
Yes, yes. I will not put your arms in stocks and shave your beard to humiliate
I will
you.
say that I don't know why he rated a purple page.
Yeah, it is purple. I will oogle your daughters, maybe? The Olsons?
What?
Olsons?
Oh,
Elizabeth Olsen?
Uncle, and you meant that he was the father of the Olsen of
Well,
Scarlet Witch and
chances are, John being one of those common names, not necessarily the father, but their father's name could be John.
No, his father's name would have been Ol.
Olson. I get it. Maybe back in the day.
I'm just thinking, let's just move on.
Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Page 8, to bring it all back around to the things that you were saying. Sorry, not page 8, page 10. It's page 8 in the magazine, page 10 in the PDF.
To bring it back to what?
Well, customized classes. How to put together one of a kind character. You literally could have all the spells if you wanted. It would cost a lot, but you could do it. And also, it's written by Paul Montgomery Crabba, who, as we know, passed away. So, thank you for bringing up both those in the first article. Yeah, this is a straightforward system to make a completely new hybrid character class. So you pay extra XP to level up to gain abilities from other classes. And they use all the charts and how much percentage or actual points it would cost to get all the other stuff. So if you want like extra hit dice, it costs you a lot more. Like if you want D10 hit dice, it costs you 200% on your XP per level. So it gets quite expensive. But yeah, you can get all the spells. You can, if he actually has examples later, and there's something called the Ubermensch, which has everything, and it's ridiculously cost to level up. He has literally everything.
We know people who could use this min-max to a horrific degree and make a disgusting character.
Yeah.
We all know those guys. But my thought was, this is terrible for D&D, but there are games, like this is ahead of its time. There are games where like that base is there. You build a game around the ability to just make a character with various charts and stuff like that. Like it's what was it? Palladium.
Riffs?
Where you would just start going through, taking this, taking that.
Riffs is kind of like that. But...
Yeah, this is sort of like that, where
it definitely
how you make a character.
Yeah, you could make a crazy character. He'd be stuck at level 1 for a long time. I think this is mostly made for D&D too. This isn't AD&D. This is a D&D thing. So that also changes a lot. that it's the editor does say, hey, this would be easily adapted to AD&D, but this specifically is made for D&D, so there's a lot less options in D&D than there are in AD&D. So
You know what? I didn't think about that. I read that, yeah, it's for D&D, and I was like, yeah, okay, but it's been so long and it's out of my mind exactly how D&D proper works. I never looked at it through that lens when I was reading this.
yeah, like there's only 3 races you could choose from, or 4 if you could count human. But
Well, in D&D though, the race was a class.
yeah, but
So
yeah, so yeah, it'd be like halfling,
so elf, halfling,
orc,
they included the orc, even though orc isn't in D&D. I don't think.
or either is halfling. I don't think. Maybe later. But yeah, Vikings. Like he's shown how you could make other adventurers, right? So if you wanted to make a Viking or a fairy or an Ubermensch, but yeah, it's interesting that like the first examples are literally the cleric, magic user, fighter, thief from the, and he shows that using my system, it works out to be exactly almost exactly what it is in the book. So it just shows that the system works. It's kind of neat, but it's an interesting way. If you really wanted to play a hybrid character, you could do this. It'd be kind of fun times. And it's hats off to Mr. Krabow. Rest in peace. You did you did a good article to send yourself to Valhalla. So there you go. That was my first article. We're back to Patrick.
Okay, let's go back into Strike 3.
Page
34.
Oh,
I was like, Strike 3.
The Ecology of the Displaced Beast.
Oh, Strike
Bill
3.
Mickelson.
I will say though, this picture right here of the Displacer Beast. How many people do you think have this as a tattoo?
Tattoo? I was thinking the exact same thing.
Oh, I know. This is straight out of the book.
Yeah, thousands of people, like hundreds of thousands of people, wants to have this tattoo.
I guarantee it. Look at that thing. Like he would.
Old school tattoo. It looks like a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely. It looks like the one that you would get next to the devil face, the red devil face one.
Or the heart with a knife through it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, I just want to say that. This isn't a great article about Displacer Beasts.
It's another mediocre ecology. It's told as a scholar doing research on a live Displacer Beast, and just the article itself just... I mean, the thing that got me where it finally lost me is where he goes, the researcher is saying, I formulate that, you know how the Displacer Beast can what's the word? Predict itself a bit away from where it really is.
Yep.
He formally goes that the illusion is automatic, though I suspect it is voluntary.
How's that possible?
I don't know. And then he goes, I'm not sure how I understand how he's bending light, but I suspect that it's magical.
Well, he doesn't have some projector strapped to his head.
These are the researchers.
He does kind of claim that it's because of this outer skin cells projecting.
That's magic.
I mean, this is all told. The thing that gets me, this is the researcher telling you. These are his conclusions.
Which he could be, he could be wrong in the story. Yeah, that's a possibility.
He was killed by the Displacer Beast eventually, so maybe he is just a bad researcher.
Yeah, well, and then he goes into the general stuff like how high a Displacer can jump and things like as a predatory cat and things like that. But it's the dialogue that really killed me. Of him talking like he's talking. If this was the today's, it'd be like him talking to a recorder, talking about his findings and things like that. And so it was just.
Is the last page just "Arr" as he was killed by
just like, oh God, it's those teeth. I surmise these teeth are sharp.
I must finish my writing before he murders me. Yeah, it's like they're running out of ideas for ecologies.
I mean. It's the people who are. I think it's not even the people. I get that's just being mean. I feel like Professor Greenwood. I could probably got to knock this one out of the park.
I was gonna say it's a format that he basically invented as the ecology of insert monster, where it's a story about, And so if you were to try and emulate that
I feel like you need to step your
hard,
game up. You got to step your game up.
yeah, to the tightrope of getting the facts out plus the story is pretty tough. And then when you're in the shadow of Dr. Greenwood Esquire, you better
Yeah.
come proper.
So, again, mediocre ecology. I was hoping for more because I do love the Displacer Beast as a creature.
Mm-hmm.
I was, and that might be why it's more disappointing to me because I was so excited to see the ecology of the Displacer Beast, and I was thoroughly disappointed.
I could see that for sure.
So,
Jack, what's your next article?
Okay, 52, please.
52 pickup. Locals aren't all yokels, you know.
The locals aren't all yokels. Now, by Ralph Sizer.
I'm Rob Sizer.
You are Sizer. The discussion we had recently about how an adventurer could walk into any town and just
murder everyone. Yeah.
Within an hour, you would have killed every person in the town. This goes on the premise that okay, yes, characters might be could be persuaded to do that, but when excuse me, when you go into a town, sure, you're the first guards you might meet might be first year trainees and whatnot, but then he says, well, the next wave of people that would try and stop you are probably going to be trained professionals, and after that you don't know who lives here. And it goes on to say
retired adventurers might just come out and kick your ass.
Exactly. He said there's a story about the Dalton gang where they were running roughshod across the West, and they went to a town and they started causing trouble. And all the locals who just happened to be war veterans of the Civil War, they went home, got their guns, and
just blasted them.
Showed them what hardened combat can do to a couple of young toughs. So, and then it just keeps escalating from there. Like, okay, then the next would be like a famous adventurer who's retired there to his adventuring days are behind him, but he's still a 20th level wizard
with tons of magic and yep.
Yeah, so it just goes in like kind of a cascading effect. Yeah, you might be able to kill so many people, but eventually,
and then you're eventually going to get the Jason Statham, and then he's going to,
or John Wick.
Out of his trunk of his car, and he's gonna kick your ass.
I don't know.
I think that's Transporter 2.
Yeah, I never watched any Transporter movies.
I only watched the first one. The second one, I started the second one on cable one day, and I was like, I'm done.
But yeah, you don't want to run into Jason Statham in a village in D&D. He will crank your ass.
But let's not forget, he did that fantasy movie that was based on a video game with Ray Liotta.
Did he?
What?
Oh, Christ. What was the name of that damn movie? Is it my turn next?
No, it's my turn.
No.
He's going to research while I talk.
I'm going to research while you talk.
Okay.
I thought that was your way of going. So anyways, I'm going to do my article.
Well, no, I was going to do my article and then research, but if it's not my turn.
If Jason Statham and Ray Liotta are doing a...
let's move to 58 while he's looking up this movie.
In the Name of the King was the name of the movie in 2007.
Never heard of it.
But it was a video game because I had the video game and I played it. It was a Diablo-esque video game. It was one of the Diablo copies after Diablo came out, and I had already destroyed Diablo 115 times.
If you played this game, comment below.
Did the movie have China Chow in it?
China Chow? Yes.
No, then I will watch it.
She was kung fu. Everyone was kung fu fighting.
Racist.
Oh my God! It had Lily Sobieski in it.
Nope.
John Rhys Davies, Ron Perlman's in it.
Right. John Rhys Davies is in every fantasy movie, so
that's true. But
and Ron Perlman is obviously going to be dressed up as some monster in it. So
Lily Sobieski's in it. Who else is in it?
Remember when she was going to be like the hot thing?
And then she just disappeared. Yeah.
She looked like, what was it? She looked like Helen Hunt, was it? She looked just like another actress. and it was like, oh, she's gonna be the.
I think she said no to Harvey Weinstein, and that
Jesus
was it.
Christ, Burt Reynolds was in that movie. And I don't remember Burt Reynolds being in that movie.
Reynolds, he must have been very old at the time.
Michelle Harrison was in it. There's a lot of people in this movie that I don't remember being in this movie.
I don't know who that is.
If you actually looked at these people's faces, most of you'd be like, "Holy crap, that guy's in it!"
Oh, character actors.
Yeah, but I just remember Ray Liotta and Jason Statham being in it.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it back now, guys. We're going to page 58.
It's good because Ray Liotta. If you want to see a movie with him, there's one with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes,
and that is a funny movie. But
I love that movie. I do love that movie.
You can get through that without getting your pants around your ankles. I don't know. You're not a
Okay.
human man.
Okay, guys. We're going to page 60. Actually, it's hooves and green hair. Just Jack's right up Jack's alley.
No, I was gonna say I thought Pat and I were slumming it, but you're taking it right into the gutter with this with this. Bennett Marks and you are pervs.
It's about half satires and half dryads, and really, I just want to say this is a sign of things to come. But that's what 5e's all about. You can make half anything now. So this is this guy was way ahead of his time. So there you go.
Or he was just really into forest porn.
That too, but who isn't, right? Am I right? Am I right?
I'm right. I'm right.
Anyways, yes,
if I'm lying, I'm dying.
If you ever want to make a half satire, which is the male, or a half dryad, which is the female, this is how you do it, and it's not good.
I mean, I will give him props for putting charts in at least.
There's yes, just ability score limits and stuff, but yeah, it's what can you say? You don't need half creatures of everything, but maybe you do now. Maybe that's what the world's so. We're back to Pat. Pat, what you got?
Oh, let's see. Let's go to page 82.
We got some Star Frontiers.
Patriots, terrorists, and spies for Star Frontier. The actual says more frontier cults for Star Frontiers gaming. And I'm not sure exactly why this was needed to be an article for Star Frontier, because who in the hell is putting militias and terrorist groups in their campaign, in a space campaign?
Well,
I'm talking militias.
I can see it.
I mean, I read this article and was like, these are straight out of the freaking.
Like they just
NRA right wing people.
These aren't militias. These are space militias.
Or maybe conversely, they stand atop a craggy mountainside and yell Wolverines, and this would be around Red Dawn. Maybe they're thinking.
Maybe, I mean, some of these names are just killing me, like the Free Thinkers, and the opposed group, the Clear Thinkers,
and the Firsters.
Yeah, it was just like, I was like, I mean, don't you have enough with fighting alien races that you need to put in militias?
I don't know. Alliance for the Right of the People have to have their voice.
Exactly. I don't know. I just, maybe because of our.
Smack my mic.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rob. I'll stop talking.
That's the noise.
So that's when the hook comes out.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the landscape of the politics today that just it really hits a little bit of a nerve.
At the time, it was quaint, and now it's reality. Jack, what is your next article?
No, I believe I did Dwarves Beards and I did Locals Ain't Yokels, so I think that's the end articles as they stand. So I think you meant
I think Rob is going to go to a second article next, right?
Yeah, we're going to go quick one on 46, The Uncommon Tongue. It's modify English to add spice to your game, and all I have to say about this is it's a whole article on how to write English wrong. It's really. Do we need this?
It's another language. This is the Thieves Guild one. And no one ever sent us a comment in Thieves Camp, by the way.
This one is just not even that, because at least Thieves Camp was this like adding like, hey, let's just change like one word and make it sound old Englishy, so I can have an old rhyme or something. And he has a whole list of eventually has a whole list of words that you can use. If you're gonna have ghost, you could use goosed instead. Ooh. Instead of shield, we can have shelled because I lost my eye. And instead of silver, you can have silver. Wait, it's the same. I don't get it.
The thing was, at first, I thought it was going to be sort of this treaty on like, oh well, ancient languages. You may need to, old tombs would have it, and it's something like a little something to decode. But it did get into.
Yeah, but that's like super easy to do. You don't need a whole article on.
That's the thing. I went from, oh, Gregory, I'm on board. Let's do this. I rubbed my hands and I was like, no, thank you, sir. I'm not your target audience. You go
No,
Scott.
sir. No, sir. I do not think so. But yeah. Well, there you go. Don't use funny words when you can use regular words.
You can't sell those rubber nipples to this horse.
That's right. Patrick, do you have another one?
I have one last one. Let's go to page 88.
That looks like a That's a xenomorph.
Yes. Well, Aliens is already out, right?
Yes, 80, yeah, something 80, something. 84?
So this is a change of diet. This is a new mutation that they added to the mutation table for PC generation for Gamma World, and I think it's awesome. And this is another thing that got missed in my Gamma World playing, because I thought this mutation would have been awesome. Different sustenance dependencies that you have to eat as part of your mutation, and there's 6 different ones. There's vampirism, a carnivorous diet, a carnivorous diet, a hypercarnivorous diet, radiation, vegetarian kind of. You lose vegetarian, that's a choice, not a mutation.
I think the hypercarnivorous diet should have been the opposite. It has to be older than 1 hour, so you're like a scavenger.
Yeah, and then the poison consumption. So I just thought this is an awesome mutation, and
just an extra effects, yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's awesome. It just adds to your role playing to that game.
Wow, and even the article before that, the double helix connection, has a ton more mutations and stuff for travelers. So I think when I had this magazine, I'm sure I rolled up a lot of mutants just for fun.
So after reading this article, then it also pulls me back to maybe wanting to do a GW for April.
A Gamma World, that is, people. Don't mistake him.
Don't confuse. We're talking RPGs here. This is not mini wargaming.
That's right.
Gamma World.
Oh yeah,
that's on my articles.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of quick ones here. 64 is previews again. We finally get Dungeoneer Survival Guide. It's officially in the previews. And in the tradition of Unearthed Arcana Oriental Adventures, it's going to be poorly edited and fall apart when you buy it.
Do we know that?
No, I don't know that. I know Unearthed Arcana and Oriental Adventures are known for falling apart when you buy them, so I assume it's the same. But yeah, Dungeoneer Survival Guide. Frankly, I think it's one of that and Wilderness are kind of a joke about they're pretty useless, but still, it's got a cool cover. I know that. So, also this previews has a ton of stuff. Advanced Marvel Superheroes is on here. By the jaundiced Jeff Grubb. See, even the poor guy is even dying in the
jaundiced
in the things. Marvel Superhero miniature sets, which I remember seeing these and think they were so cool. The miniatures back in the day before I actually bought miniatures, and lots of licensed board games. We got Paramount game, Broadway game, Honeymooners game. Like there's tons of, for some reason, licensed board games is TSR's new thing. It seems.
Well, I think this is a money grab.
Yeah, it's like weird that they have all these strange games.
Just trying to make some money.
Yeah, because Honeymooners.
Trying to make some quick money.
In 1986, that well-known Honeymooners from 30 years before is very popular.
I will still say I think it was still played syndication-wise.
I'm sure it was.
The local channels.
I'm sure it was. Yeah. Yeah, D&D Mortal. I also said, but we talked about that last time. But this is big previews.
You get a date on this one though, June 1986.
Yeah, so it's all coming together, guys. It's all coming together. But that's previews, and my last one is going to be on page 62 because I like doing the profiles. This one's on Jeff Easley, one of our favorite artistes.
Yes.
And he's obviously a big cosplayer before cosplaying
Yeah.
was a thing.
It looks like he's a Shogun warrior there, like one of the
Yeah,
robot Shogun warriors.
I guess for Halloween he always did use elaborate costumes, but I didn't know he worked for Creepy, Eerie, Vampirella, and Conan magazines before working for TSR. And how he got into TSR, he became friends with Elmore, and Elmore got him into TSR. They're both from, I think they're both from Tennessee or wherever they're from. I think it was Tennessee. So instead of Elmore, he forced this guy to come in. So he badgered him to join. So finally, he brought somebody else in. But yeah, it's I like the little profiles. You get a little backstory of all these guys. It's pretty interesting. Little personal behind the scenes stuff. That's it for articles. Anybody else got anything?
I am tapped.
We got lots of ads, so we got lots of ads to talk about. Let's go. Pat's first ad.
Okay, let's go to page 10.
10
Bottom
is
of that
customized. Oh,
article.
I was gonna say
At the bottom of that article, there is
supremacy.
Supremacy, the board game of Glow Powder. I never played this game, but this ad makes me want to play it.
It's a pretty famous game too. I've heard of this game. So
Yeah, I've never played it, but this is a nice looking ad. It's laid out nicely. It makes me want to play it.
it looks a lot like Pandemic. That's what I think.
And Pandemic and Risk mixed together.
Yeah, Risk
It
definitely.
looks just complicated enough with the various cards and little
And the little chits. Yeah, and
lines,
and more than 2 dice. It's I'm like, oh,
but it
I
doesn't
want.
like
Murderous.
daunting.
Yeah.
I think they laid it out just the right. It just got the right balance of, hey, look, it's not just a cheap, easy game, but also, hey, it's not going to be like trying to pilot a submarine.
Yeah.
I dig it. I mean, I mentioned this ad because it literally makes me. As I was looking for ads, I was like, oh.
Also, it's
maybe I should get this game somehow.
I'm sure it's available. Probably new versions of it, but
Yeah.
the quality also is. It looks modern, doesn't it? Look like a modern game where
Yeah, it looks
you
like
could-
a game we would be playing now.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just the artistic style and the colors and everything. It looks very very different from what we were getting up until now. I think we're seeing a lot more. I don't know if it's professional or just better done. I don't know. It's different aesthetic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Jack, what's your first ad?
Oh, if you played Supremacy, let me know if you like it. Maybe I'll get it.
And there you go. Mention below
Yes.
that Pat has to own this game and he will force to buy him.
And if it is between $9 and $90, that is the rules.
I'm easily manipulated that way. That's for sure.
Well, I would assume if it's under $9, he'd buy it too.
Put it in the horde.
The horde needs to grow.
I think maybe because I think the artistic style they used was a future. They went, okay, this is what a futuristic looking, and to us that looks like today's.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the art.
For
style
once,
that
they actually got the
convinces-
futuristic look right. Usually, it's like
with the geometric disassembling of the continents. Okay, I don't know.
interesting.
Page 36, please. And I will be using you two as the sounding board for this down bottom left-hand corner.
You stole one of mine.
Mechton.
Yes.
Oh, it's our Talasaurian.
Yes, this Mechton. This is before Cyberpunk. This is their game before Cyberpunk.
So it is a giant robots. So that's up here to your alley. That's in your wheelhouse.
I would pull it down, but I think it's way up there somewhere. I don't want to try to climb and get it.
What do you have?
I have Mechton. I
You
have
have
this
the
game.
game?
they still produce it. They just don't make this game.
Okay. So it says it's the authentic feel of the transformable robots on your television screen. Now, this being 1986,
It's definitely
Transformers.
Yeah, that's what they're kind of going on. But I would say it's more Gundam, more like
Well,
Japanese.
this picture is definitely Transformers. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's got the seeker body
Yeah,
with the GoBot head.
and then it's got the Gundam.
Gundam, yeah, the crest, yeah.
Aerials on the front.
It,
And then the fist is so Shogun Warrior.
it is
Oh,
a bit, yeah.
100%.
It's
So,
a
okay.
good combination of everything, but it definitely has more the feel of Japanese anime more than, well, yeah, Transformers was sort of half Japanese.
And the fact that you have the game is even a better. So you don't have to comment below. If you're about to comment that
No.
it's a good game and that Rob should get it,
Yeah. I've
don't
never
worry
played
about
it. I own a lot of mech games I've never played. But I remember when we first I don't remember what show we did it. It must have been for our other show, the Mobile Armor Radio. If anybody is really interested in a mech based podcast, very similar to this but with giant zombie robots, we were talking about Cyberpunk, and when I was talking to the people at Artalosaurian about getting a review copy of Cyberpunk Red when it came out, they were like, oh yeah, if you ever make a mech game, and they're like, we make Mechton. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot completely about that game. But yes, so Artalosaurian, I think this is the first time we've seen their name, but yeah, currently huge because of Cyberpunk 2077 and all the animes and the live action show coming up eventually, and Cyberpunk Red out now, but same company back then. Yeah, pretty amazing. Mike Poundsmith. So yeah, pretty cool. This was definitely one of my articles. Thanks,
Mike
Jack.
Poundsmith, who we talked to and chatted with, and did not realize he was the owner of the
Well, at the time when we talked to him, it was before Cyberpunk 2077 and before everything jumped off, and I was like, oh, I love Cyberpunk, and I was talking to him. I knew who he was, but at the time it was like, whatever, Cyberpunk's very niche. Their table at Gen Con was literally a table. Like, it was, their booth was 5x5.
And
maybe.
then exploded.
And now they own, like, they had like a whole room to themselves this last Gen Con. So it's amazing the difference a couple of years makes. So
now you couldn't even get past his third assistant to talk to him.
I don't think he'd even. I don't think he'd be in the booth. I don't. It's not. You know, it wouldn't happen. I don't think. So.
Demi Harper.
But it's pretty crazy. Yeah. It's funny going to Gen Con and meeting these people, and then they explode. Like, even the BattleTech guys, you know, back in the day we'd be able to talk to them. Now we talk to the peons.
Every once in a while we can still talk with them.
Yeah, but it's just kind of funny though, the different levels these games reach when they really hit it big. You know.
Yeah, we're definitely talking to them pre doors opening. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, those booths get destroyed. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that we're seeing that, and that was one of my. So on to my real one then. Fine, Jack, since you stole that one from me. We'll go to page 19 to continue my always talking about BattleTech. This is CityTech. This is the very first BattleTech thing I ever bought. Right here.
I definitely left that for you.
I bought this before I knew really what BattleTech was, and it was a box set. I was like, it must be a game. Little did I know you actually had to have BattleTech to play this game, but it's it was the first thing I bought for BattleTech. So all little standees and fighting in cities.
Did you end up buying BattleTech?
Oh yeah. It was just I'd have to buy it next time. I was at the game store instead.
Reading the rules, like, I don't understand.
Well,
he was referencing.
Yeah, it was more like, hey, this is how you play in this city. Well, you don't tell me how to play normally, but yeah. But classic BattleTech book with the archer on the cover, and yeah. So this is my foray into BattleTech right here. I still own it. It is destroyed. That box is like barely surviving because it definitely had a lot of moves and a lot of action. So, but fun times. Pat, do you have another ad?
I do. This is my favorite ad so far. Page 17.
Yeah, this is my other ad too. As I like to call.
I'm not offended, but I'm surprised people were not at this ad.
Oh, I think this is before people were allowed to be offended with Asian stereotypes.
You can still take offense to that. I mean, there was still a little offense to this because it literally says the Oriental Bruce Lee.
No, it doesn't. It says no. It says original. You're just racist in your reading. That says the original Bruce Lee.
I like to say Oriental.
But it is written in that this is a menu for a Chinese food restaurant.
Yeah, vaguely Asian. The Comic Sans of vaguely Asian fonts. Yes,
and also, it's. Go ahead, Jack.
I can't imagine what the game is, but in my head, I was thinking family has to have been like someone in the family had to have written off on it. Like,
it says right there.
It has to be as well. But let me just point out, this is also a Canadian company.
Well, It is from BC. We barely consider them Canada.
Racist.
But it's the Bruce Lee estate endorses and promotes this product in the memory of the late Bruce Lee. So it's the Bruce Lee Memorial Game. That's what this is.
I'm sure Linda Lee, I think is his wife's name, was just like, let's get you. How much for the license? All right, here you go. Boom.
It looks like it's like dueling kind of game. I don't know. Or is it a roll and move? It's kind of weird.
I can't tell because I don't see. I just see yin yang symbols floating everywhere and a couple cards. I don't even see pieces on the board.
It looks pretty, made by some white guys thinking this is what Asians like.
Yeah.
It looks pretty bad.
At least they didn't think it said the Oriental Bruce Lee.
When
I could see how
it out that if you're glancing at this,
yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
because when I glanced at it, I went, "What? That just say the Oriental Bruce Lee? Did you think there's a Scandinavian Bruce Lee? What the fuck?" And then I looked at it again and went, "Oh, it says original."
Yeah.
The English comic Bruce Lee from Sussex is like, hey, come on.
I just want to
confuse my.
I just want to be clear. This is the Oriental Bruce Lee, not the guy from Norway.
But it is, yeah. I was surprised when I saw this ad. Also, I was like, "What?"
It makes me wonder if we'll see this ad again, but we'll see.
Jack, do you have another ad?
No, I do not. We do a show each. That is the rules.
Well, we are this time because you guys stole my other ads. So, Pat, do you have any more ads?
That's it. I only had 2.
See, all mine were stolen. Yeah. So that was a good episode. A lot of good memories, and yeah, we're in 86, guys. Halfway through 86.
Yep, that would be what are we? April? You said?
No, this is May, I believe.
May. So
yes.
Yeah.
June, July, August. So, in a year and 3 more months, I'll be leaving home and never playing D&D for at least another 6 years.
Because you go to college.
Yeah.
Well, in another 3 years, I'll be getting into D&D. So there you go. But yeah, fun times. Yep. And like, share, subscribe. Discuss if you think that Bruce Lee ad was racist. And yeah.
And nowadays it would be on fire.
Oh yeah, that company would be canceled in a second. But
yeah,
it was different times, people. It was different times.
Yeah. Well, I preface, I was never offended. I just laughed hysterically.
No, I was like, first of all, I can't believe it was endorsed, and secondly, I can't believe it was the memorial game.
Exactly. They had to have said that in front of his wife. So this is the layout of the ad.
We also must say his wife was not Asian, so she
probably it's not Enter the Dragon, the game. It's not like you fight various what is the game mechanics for the Bruce Lee game?
If you know what the Bruce Lee mechanics are, please comment below.
It's not like a thematic. Is it just? I can't imagine. Like, you go to work and you get in a little car and you drive and
it's. So those yin and yang are really just tiddlywinks. So it's just a game of tiddlywinks.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it almost looks roll and move when you look at that picture. But
you meet Chuck Norris on set. What do you do?
Or those little yin yang symbol discs are really sharp metal things and you throw them at each other.
Shuriken.
Racist. Anyways, we'll be back next week. Episode 110. We're into the 110s.
We're in the teens of the hundreds.
That's right, 100 teens. Yeah, I've been Rob.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Chopper.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Hundreds teens doesn't make sense.
That makes no sense.